Will Steve Rogers and his allies all over the country be able to unite and defeat the specter of the hate monger? Well, let's hop into the pages of the United States of Captain America issue number 5 and find out together, shall we? So then, picking up from where the last issue left off, Superior and her comrades had managed to release the evil spirit of the original hate monger from an American military installation where it was being kept. You'll remember that at the end of that issue, they made an offhand, almost joking comment about John Walker, the US agent, needing to torture the former Sin to find out where the bad guys would strike next. Well, turns out it's not a joke at all, because literally this comic opens up with all the inferences that Walker did indeed torture her. Again, he says it's all totally fine within the Geneva Convention. And yeah, she's literally a Nazi supervillain and daughter of the original biggest, baddest Nazi supervillain, but still none of this feels right to me. What makes it even weirder is Steve Rogers' own reaction to the whole thing. He doesn't seem mad, he doesn't necessarily try and stop US Agent, he's just kind of like, meh, what are you gonna do? I guess the ends justified the means and we need to start torturing supervillains now if we're ever gonna bring down the hate monger. Again, this puts a real bad taste in my mouth in the beginning of the book and it doesn't really go away. It's a particular shame too because the setup is actually pretty interesting for US Agent and he goes on an actually somewhat compelling monologue that's true to his character about not letting one's own personal grievances define them. But I can't really enjoy any of it because the book basically just gave a backhanded support of military torturing. Because that's the thing, the plan does ultimately work and the Captain Americas think they finally know where the bad guys have set up shop and what they might very well have planned next, but the missing factor in all of this is actually Captain Merrick. He was the real military captain in charge of keeping the hate monger in his prison, and apparently now that the evil specter is out, he's making inroads to actually try and attack Merrick directly. That's why Winter Soldier and the young college-age Captain America have decided to go and try and protect him and his young daughter, because, well, this ultimately ends up not only being the finale to this series, but also Merrick's own focus issue. We learn a lot about him, how he's a single dad, and how he worked tirelessly to protect the men in his service, not only overseas, but at home too, from all the people who would hope to try and take advantage of them. Now, after getting deprogrammed at the end of the previous issue, Speed Demon actually joins the good guys for a little bit here. Unfortunately, all he actually manages to do is make it so Superior can escape. Don't ask me how, but for some reason, Commander Krieger was actually waiting for Superior outside where the Captain Americas had set up shop at the old Avengers Academy building. And for some reason, Steve and the others decide they're not going to chase after them directly. Instead, they're going to try and meet them off at the pass at where they're setting up their big final plan. And why, yes, before you even have to ask, they do end up walking in completely half-cocked and getting themselves caught by Hate Monger and the rest of the villains. If nothing else, though, with Steve, Sam, and the others taken hostage, it gives them an opportunity to actually monologue to the good guys about what exactly their plan is and why they needed Captain America's shield in the first place. You see, the plan is for the bad guys to take over America's television signals and broadcast a hypnotic message using the shield in the same way you would use a pocket watch. Hate Monger will then use his powers to make everyone in the country afraid of Captain America's shield, in doing so completely destroying Steve Rogers' legacy forever. Even though they literally probably could have done all of this with just an American flag and not the shield, it would have served the same purpose. They also claim that dressing up in patriotic costumes and committing crimes all across America was also part of the bigger scheme to try and make Americans not trust each other and sow seeds of division, which, too late for that, guys. This means that Bucky and Merrick have to sneak on in themselves, Bucky actually donning his own Captain America costume for the first time in the series. They free their friends, and just when it seems like they're going to be overwhelmed by the bad guys, they are reinforced by the other members of the underground Captain America network led by Rail Rider. Some of these characters we've met before, like Joe and Nichelle, and there's also some new ones that we haven't seen before, like football player Captain America and businessman Captain America. Even though the heroes win the day, the hate monger signal ends up going out anyway, meaning that the heroes of the Captain America Underground actually get a chance to talk to the entire nation. Naturally, their message is one of hope and unity, saying that you can never defeat America and you can never defeat the dream because America is a beautiful, vast melting pot. And that, wouldn't you know it, there's just a little bit of Captain America in everyone, don't you know? As the comic winds down, Steve actually sees the full shield exist exhibit over at the Smithsonian, and pretty much reiterates the message of this story all over again to a young kid who recognizes him. Hey, are you Captain America? I am, and so are you, and so is everyone. The end. And so that was the United States of Captain America issue number 5, everybody, and if you couldn't tell, I thought this finale, as with much of this series, was kind of all over the damn place. I think the biggest problem this series has is that it actually had 2 really great ideas that ended up fighting for panel time in this very short 5-issue series. Steve and all the other Captain Americas joining forces and traveling across America to fight an evil threat is a great concept, but we also have to couch that right next to the very Spider-Verse concept of what if every community in America had their own Captain America that reflected their needs. Again, great ideas that don't actually end up playing well off each other in this story. Some of these Captain Americas get whole stories and backup stories devoted to them and their origins and what makes them tick, and other ones get forgotten completely. Then of course you got the Hydra villains whose plot is just kind of nonsensical. It's on one hand way too simple and on the other hand needlessly complicated. Also, who was even the main bad guy in this? First it was Superior, then it was Commander Krieger, then it was Hatemonger, who all just kind of ended up getting defeated much too easily for my taste. I certainly wouldn't call the United States of Captain America bad, but I would certainly call it one of the more disappointing comics I've read this year, if only because I had such very, very high hopes for it going in. Maybe it should have been longer than 5 issues, maybe it should have been broken up into 2 completely separate stories, I can't say for certain. I will say though, there was one thing I did enjoy about it all, and that is that Steve Rogers himself does at least end up having a full arc by the time everything is said and done. He starts off being unsure about his place in the great American dream, but by the time it's done, he knows that Captain America will always have a place in the American consciousness and the American dream, because there will always be great young people willing to take up the mantle. Yeah, the children are the future. That's a message I can get behind, even if I feel everything else in the comic wasn't nearly as well executed. Overall, I'd give this one a 6 out of 10. Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cape Joel again, thanking you so much for watching to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, why not check out my Amazon link down in the description. Yes, that's right, the Cape Joel channel officially has its own Amazon storefront now. You can pick up a comic or anything else for that matter, and if you did, you'd really be helping me in the channel. So with that out of the way everyone, I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.